we are back on Dartmoor. Not quite sure where the last month and a half has gone, to be honest, but it has. It's been about a month and a half since I was last out on camp. I'm back up on as I say, Dartmoor, and I've got Bleak House behind me. I'm just trying out sort of a Joby or Jobby gorilla pod. So I'm just sort of seeing how it works for holding. It does actually increase the weight significantly, and I can feel quite a bit of weight on the arm. So I'm not quite sure how this image is going to, come out steady wise. We will see. I've had a fly around with the Phantom, so hopefully that footage you will have already seen. It's much easier holding this contraption with one arm, with two arms than one. I think my right arm is maybe a bit stronger than my left. No comment. Oh, you can tell nothing's changed here. We seem to have misplaced Lassie at the moment. She's probably down in the water. We'll go and have an investigation in a minute. So I've just got everything piled out here at the moment for my flight, the remote control. Obviously some people won't know what I use exactly, so that's the remote control, that's the monitor, so I put the monitor onto that, and then with that I can then see where the Phantom is actually flying, because it hooks up to the GoPro down under there. I've bought a couple of slightly different things, not that different food wise. Some cheddar, literally these were bought in cheddar cheese straws, and a chicken madras with long grain and wild rice boiling bag meal. But it's a very warm, almost a hot, well, I would say a hot day today. Oh, one other thing, just as a slight aside, I decided to try a Chris Townsend job and and try hiking in sandals. I'm obviously parked, well not obviously because you wouldn't know, obviously. I'm parked at the car park over at Dartmoor, and I've walked from there to here and no problems so far in sandals. Obviously I'm not doing a long walk today, I keep it fairly short, so I don't want to exacerbate my foot or anything like that, but the foot's not too bad at the moment. So I just want to try something, a bit different really, different food, different way of holding the camera, which I may or may not, keep doing. So yeah, it really does add weight to it, so not sure it's such a brilliant idea, but we'll see how it goes. And then, as I say, I thought I'd just try sandals. I did use sandals last year around Cheddar a few times and didn't have any problems there, so I thought I'd just give it a crack around here as well. Cheers. As some of you may very well know, there's a myth out there that says you must wear walking boots. Whenever you go hiking, you must wear walking boots. It's probably the oldest myth or old wives' tale out there going, and it's the one that produces more debate and disagreements than anything else on earth, I think, certainly in the outdoor walking community. So it's always good to light the tinder paper and see what happens. As you can see, this is slightly boggy, slightly tussocky, quite tussocky I'd say, terrain here. And it's not necessarily by choice that I'm coming, well it is actually by choice, because it's the only way I can get in that direction. But so far, you know, it has to be said that, of course, I never wear boots anyway. So normally I would have my trail shoes or something like that on through here, but I haven't missed my trail shoes at all. You know, again, it's a shortish walk, it's not a long walk. I don't want to go too far today because I've still got that plantar fish face, plantar fasciitis in my left foot. But it's not bad at all. So, you know, a little bit of light exercise like this occasionally with stops, you know, is not doing it any harm. Okay, well, we've pitched camp. I'm not going to say where the camp is, but I'm sure it's not too difficult to find. If I do tell you where the camp is, I'll get told off by Richard. So anyway, I will show you around camp here. You will maybe, possibly, potentially, probably, predictably notice that the Trailstar is in a slightly different configuration this time. It's kind of sort of arse over backwards, as it were, this time. So in other words, the front is now the back. I thought I'd give this configuration a, well, the weather is set very, very fair tonight, so I knew that sort of strong wind wouldn't be a problem or anything like that. I'm still trying this sort of tripod gizmo thing here, so I'm not quite sure how effective it is. But yeah, so the weather is supposed to be sort of fair, very, very hot tonight, so I thought it would be a good idea to have a crack at the Trailstar in this shape. Now, I've divided camp up into various departments. So over here we have the hotel. Here we have the cafe. Here we have the bar. There we have the dog centre, and then we've even got an airport. And then over here we've got the airport. So as you can see, we've got quite a large commercial setup here. There's probably going to be some EU directive that says that this isn't allowed. Oh, that's handy. I get countless people, well, okay, one or two, asking, you know, what cook systems I use and things like that. I did get a different little cooking pot from someone else, and I forgot to bring that with me. I'll bring that another time. But I use an titanium Avenue ultralight pot. This is the 600mm pot, and the Trail Designs caldera cone. This is the sidewinder, so when you're not using it, it fits inside the pot that it's designed to fit. And to use, it's pretty simple really. You just, this one, to make this work well, I have a small Zelf stove, and you get this from Trail Designs as well. But there is a chap, funny enough, he actually lives down the road from me, called Taco Blades, who makes a little cooker, little stove similar to this, and I meant to have brought that with me to try, and I completely and utterly forgot. It's about £9, something like that, so that's well worth looking at if you're looking for a small maths stove. So to use this, obviously pretty straightforward, even I can't go too far wrong with this. You pour maths into that. You can measure it out, of course, but because you can blow this out, I never bother measuring it. I just whack a load in, and then because I'm camped near the top of a hill, I brought water with me and had to carry it up, which was a hefty old job. That's why I like camping low down by water, to be honest. And then we will, like that, put that in there, that's on there, and that is tea going, hopefully. You probably noticed that I just put my cutlery there on the grass. I'm sure it's perfectly clean. I do that all the time, and I haven't died or anything yet, so I'm fine with that. Some people might think a sheep has peed there or something, but it's highly unlikely exactly on that spot. And then I put in a jiffy bag, powdered milk, tea bags and sweeteners. I'm trying to sort of slowly move away from sweeteners to sugar, but these sachets of sweeteners are very handy for taking out camping. It rather looks like Lassie has decided to seek shelter in a tiny bit of shade under the Trailstar. She's obviously got a lot more sense, because you'd never catch me half naked sunbathing outside a Trailstar. Right, it's still such a beautiful evening out this evening. Hopefully you've had time to recover, or maybe not, given the editing. But this evening, it's now nearly 7 o'clock. Food. I have one of these Forestia meals. Not quite sure where I got this from actually, but I've got this meal. Chicken madras with long grain and wild rice. Obviously I have a meth stove. A boil in the bag meal, I have to say, is not the best meal to... I've gone back to the hand holding it. Yeah, a boil in the bag meal is better on a gas stove, to be honest. You know, a small gas cooking camping stove, because you can turn the you can turn the gas down and what and simmer it. Whereas of course I can't turn the meths down, so it'll just be on sort of full pelt the whole time. But I had the meal, so I thought I'd bring it out and give it a crack. Right, one boiling bag meal, boiling in the bag. Although I did get it up to boil, and of course putting the bag in has cooled it off a bit, so it's not exactly bubbly-ying away at the moment. I'm not sure if you can, I think you can just see Sean the sheep just over there, head sticking over, just having a nose. We did have a dozen or so cows sort of come up here about an hour or so ago, and they took one look at us and they legged it. They didn't stay around for long. But the sheep seemed quite inquisitive. I ate the meal. It was rather nice, I have to say. I never even thought to show you the food. Cooked down the stomach it went. Just a sort of a quick video before going to bed. Not that I'm actually going to go to bed just yet, but it's 8 o'clock, sun's going down, cooling off a little bit now. So not too much longer, and then I'll get in to keep warm. Best place to keep warm is inside the shelter. But not sure if you can see it or not, but there's a hot air balloon up there. The sun on the screen, I can't make it out, but you might see a hot air balloon there. I'll just give you a quick look around in here. So I've put the Phantom and all the controllers over there, my pack, Lassie's pack, and then here I've just got my phone charging up, water, food, cooking stuff, more water, cup, and then inside here I've got my pillow. Because it was quite warm today, I brought my MLD Spirit quilt for this evening. Just clothes there that I'll put on later for bed. My mat. I know some people sort of query about bringing a foam mat when you're camping, but I find it quite useful. I can put it under my mat if necessary, which I may well do, because this is a Thermarest self-inflating mat, so it's a little bit thinner than my other one, so my big bony bottom does tend to ground out on that one, so I'll probably put the foam mat under that for an extra protection. But the foam mats, actually, I find very useful for, you know, sitting outside, or if you have a cup of tea or a stop or something. So I think a foam mat's, you know, worth taking all the time myself. And then I've just put Lassie's food and water there. I've not put her bed out. Last time she didn't even use this, and of course it's not roasting hot, and it's not freezing cold, so if she does want the bed, I can grab it easily enough, but I think she'll be happy enough without it. So I'll just leave you for now, and then catch up in a minute. Well, good morning. It's 8:15, which is actually later than I've ever woken up. I think I woke up at just before 8 o'clock. A good night's sleep. The only slight thing was I did have to get out at 2 o'clock and reconfigure the door back to the classical everything storm-proof, wind-proof, rain-proof, hurricane-proof, disaster-proof tsunami proof Trailstar setting. Basically, when I sort of, you know, said goodnight to you all, got in here, this breeze picked up. It was about 8:30, about 9 o'clock. And the wind, just generally speaking, just got stronger and stronger. And a couple of times I noticed the centre pole here dropped a couple of times. I think there was a lot more pressure on the pole because of the more open shape. So I kept tightening the pole up. But it kept dropping a tiny bit. It wasn't a problem, but it was just sort of something that I thought, well, if I can't keep the pole, if I can't keep my pole done up, you know, I'm going to have a bit of an interesting night. And again, you can't blame that on the Trailstar, of course, that's the pole. So anyway, at 2 o'clock I sort of thought, and because it was so open, I think it was putting a lot more pressure on the Trailstar, the wind. So at 2 o'clock I just got up, and it only took 5 minutes, maybe 10, it didn't take long. So obviously the door was that point there, so that point was raised up, so of course the whole front was open. So by taking that line out and that guy line out, swapping the two around, and then obviously moving the pole over one point, and that was all I had to do. I just checked and tightened all the other points as well, of course. And oh, that's rather nice. I'm having a foot wash. Nice. Maybe we should offer this as a new service, Lassie. Foot washing. So yeah, so until I did that, I wasn't really sleeping properly. I couldn't really sleep, but then once I did that, I fell asleep. And then, like I say, I woke up at about just before 8 o'clock. So I was obviously very, very comfortable from that point on. So anyway, the last few minutes I've made a cup of tea and my porridge is ready to be eaten. Yeah, so this is the shape of the Trailstar after I reconfigured it at 2 AM in the morning. And as you can see, the wind has certainly picked up overnight. Not quite sure where that wind came from. Certainly didn't come from me.